Hello, this is wmpyr. For today's video, I want to wrap up the arm crossing video series that we have been doing. The main idea here is that I want to focus on the missing concept behind this. Okay, so the main thing that I showed you in the last video, and this is the third video. So in the last video, the second video, was that if someone is going to strike at you, what we do in the Filipino martial arts is that we defang the snake. So we're going to hit that arm, right? So we hit that arm, and then what we do is we just like go into something like the Heaven Six from there, all right? That works all great and nice in a demonstration, but in real life, things are a little different, okay? Because now you have to understand that in real life, there's going to be force. There's going to be weight, strength, speed, explosiveness, even youth is a factor, all right? You're going to feel the pressure of all those things. There's a lot of force, but in demonstration, no matter how fast and cool it looks, it's not there, okay? So that's why they're able to, an attack is coming, they hit the arm, and then there's this nice distance still maintained, and they can go bam, 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 do that kind of stuff, manipulate the arm, go into takedowns, you know, do joint locks, all kinds of things from there, because the guy keeps the space for you. It's nice and easy. There is no force there. So in a real life situation, right, we're going to do the same thing. I'm not going against the technique. I'm not against the technique. I'm just saying let's just make it a little bit more realistic. So what might happen is on that same strike, I hit it, but I don't get to hit it, and I have this nice distance to where I could do this kind of thing. I hit it, and then we're here. He's here on me already because he was throwing it like that, you know. So boom, we are going to be colliding here. We're in the clinch. So what this allows me to do, if I have this kind of technique, spiking technique, or even one of these, it allows me to clinch a little bit more safer. If I didn't have that and I just struck, and I was expecting this to go into this, and now he's on me right here, I'm in a bad, you see, my balance is already backwards. This is not a good position. If this guy knew anything about grappling, the underhooks are coming in, and I'm going to get put in a bear hug and basically be taken down, slammed down hard. We're using the forearm here to make it just a little bit more difficult for the guy to just easily just grab a hold of me from here. And then what I do is this arm is for support, okay? So that's why it turns into an arms cross position. So this is my main brace right here, and then this arm comes in here. Now, this is why in the Filipino martial arts we do this, is because from here I can go off this way or I could go off this way. So for MMA, we can translate that to this arm right here pushes so I could get this arm off, and I'm transferring now his weight onto this arm, and then now I could go bang, I can punch this way, right? So right here, all the weight's coming on here, and I'm pushing back here, and I just transfer it to this way, and bam, I can punch this way. Or from here, I can push off with this same arm to create the gap, and boom, punch like that. In the Filipino martial arts, this is devastating because we're expected to have a blade, and at this point, the moment I did this, if I have a knife right here, I already cut the guy right there. Okay, so this is, think about it, right? So we end up, boom, in a clinch right here, okay? Maybe it's a crowded riot type situation, whatever, it's chaotic, boom, right here. And the moment I do this, I already cut the guy. Okay, so this next missing detail has to do with, I showed you guys that there is a whole lot of different ways to use the arm crossing position here. Okay, so we could use this as an actual shield. We could use this as a spike right here. We could use it as an actual block this way. We could use it as a push down. We could use it as a parry. We could use it as a deflector. I mean, I showed you guys that when you cross your arms, there's so many different ways that you could use it. But I don't want to confuse you guys with a bunch of options, all right? That's not what I'm trying to do. If you present a whole bunch of materials like that, all that's going to do is you're going to get confused in a real life situation. So options is good for educational purposes, but in a real life situation, all it does is confuse, okay? So what I'm trying to do is present here more of a strategy. So what separates when to use which technique? Am I going to be parrying? Am I going to be pushing down like this? Am I going to be shielding? Which one am I going to be doing? That depends on the distance and the force. How much force are they bringing to the table? Okay, so the idea, the last one I showed you was basically to go into the clinch. That is a ton of force coming in. It's unexpected, or it's just they're coming in at you like a freight train. All right. This next one is when there's more space involved. All right. When there's a lot more space involved. Okay. So from this situation, we're doing this. Okay. So this is just pushing down. Imagine this is their arm, and they're trying to attack me. I'm just pushing it down like this. Okay. It's a check. It's a push down. It's a parry. Okay. So if it's a little higher, it'll be a parry. So boom. Why are we doing this instead of one hand? Why aren't we parrying like this? You know, why aren't we checking like that? Why are we doing both hands? Well, it's for backup. So that means that the force might be a little bit stronger. If they're just going like that, and if I could do this, then fine. But if it's a little stronger than that, then this is what's going to happen. So that's why there's two hands. Just that's all that is. It's not saying it's better than the one-handed. I'm just saying if it's a little stronger, a little bit more aggressive, then we just go to two. That's all it is. So the idea here is boom, like this, okay? And if this attack here is more committed, then from here, we're just gonna go a little bit to this, where I could actually strike. So I have a little bit more time where I did this, and now I could do that motion right here. See, this can be an actual forearm strike this way, and this is my cut. If I had a blade in this hand, that's a cut. If I had a blade in this hand, I could still use this like that, where I'm striking with my arm instead of the blade, or I could actually cut this way, and this hand now checks. Okay, so it's very versatile. So it could be the other way around too. I could use this arm over here to strike and get myself out of there, and then this is the arm that cuts. However, the main thing is this comes first, all right? Just like in the other technique that I showed you guys earlier, was that this comes before this, all right? This is nice. We want to be able to do the heaven six on the opponent. I mean, this is all free hits here. This is like a Christmas present. But we may not be able to do it, and because they come in a lot closer than expected, then we need this. We need that shield. So the same idea here. If you don't have the shield, you could get screwed. We want this move right here, the check, the parry, okay? If you don't have this, it's going to be very difficult to just do this, okay? You have to gauge it. Good, excellent timing. It's a little bit of a gamble. So this lets you know that, oh, I can check their arm, because checking is a lot easier to do. To just touch their arm is a lot easier than to actually fully strike it, okay? So we're just working in steps here. So we check, and once we do that, we go bam, bam. You see, so one, now that I know that I could do that, it might take me a couple of times just doing this a few times, and then they come in, boom, right here, they come in, boom, right there. It might take me a couple of times, and then when I feel like, okay, I think I'm starting to get this, bam, then I can do that, okay? And like I said, if I have a blade, that's my counter right there. I just cut them right there, okay? So that's the idea. We're just going in steps here, and that's the missing step, is to link this with this right here. Okay, so that's a wrap for the arm crossing series. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and take care, folks.